Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary friends. Welcome back to another episode of Actors with Issues, where we bring you casual chats with the stars of TV, film, and Broadway. As always, I am your host, Juan Ayala. Thanks for tuning in. Today's guest has seriously done it all. You've heard her voice in animated series and video games, including Ben 10, Elena of Avalor, League of Legends, and in television roles like Teen Jane and the CW's Jane the Virgin, in an NBC's medical drama The Night Shift, and in the upcoming horror thriller Student Body. She portrays high school student Jane Shipley, who, along with her friends, is being targeted by a sledgehammer-wielding psychopath on the school grounds. Please welcome to the show, Montse Hernandez. Montse, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to start with a quick game. It's a 60
Oh, fun.
seconds rapid fire round of questions.
Oh
We'll see
no.
how many you can get through.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
Alrighty, so we'll start with an easy one. Coffee or
Okay.
tea?
Tea,
Film or TV?
film,
Drama or comedy?
drama. Oh, look
Hero
at
or
you.
villain?
Sorry. A villain.
Favorite horror movie?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
Do you have any secret talents?
I I like to paint. I can paint.
What actor has had the biggest influence on you?
Oh man. And this is still rapid fire, right? I don't have time to
Yeah.
think. Oh no. Biggest influence on me. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
You can pass.
I I can pass. I'm gonna pass for now. For now.
What's
Let's
the
make it
last show
better.
that you binge
Okay.
watched?
I just finished it. Stay Close on Netflix.
What was your first non-acting job?
Um, Teaching.
If you could guest star on any TV show, which would you choose?
American Horror Story.
Good choice. Okay, so that's time. So last
Okay.
question.
That was
Describe
so stressful.
sigh of
Sorry.
relief. Uh, so last question. Describe your most memorable audition in 3 words. And memorable can mean good or bad, so I leave that up to you.
Most memorable audition. Um, hmm. It was don't count those. Don't count those. Um, Interesting. Ominous.
Hmm,
Unforgettable.
hmm.
My three.
Awesome. So,
All right.
as we all know, no two artist journeys are alike. So, when did you first become involved in the arts and then decide you wanted to pursue it on a career level?
So I started really young,
Mm.
so young that I didn't even know that it was even a career. I started when I was 3. My mom kind of, put me in modeling and stuff, and I loved it since day one. I always loved it. My mom, she has an artistic background. She was a ballerina in Mexico. She studied at Bellas Artes
Mm.
in Mexico City, so she wanted me to be in that environment. She always wanted me to have that in me as well. And I just remembered that anytime I went on a photo shoot or did like a commercial spot, I just had a blast. I had so much fun. And that never left. When I
Mm.
finally started getting to the age where I'm like, oh, this is serious. This is not a hobby. Like this is an actual career that you have to take serious. I still kept that, but I'm having so much fun.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
how kind of it all started.
Yeah, it's important to keep that sort of positive energy and not, I mean, obviously it is a job, something you have to pursue and all of that, but keeping that positiveness really does help in an
Mhm.
industry that can be very full of,
Oh yeah.
rejection and constant trying and not getting the answers you want.
Mhm.
Um, was there ever a point in your career that things maybe weren't going the way you wanted and you were maybe thinking like, okay, well, is there something else that I can do maybe?
100%. So many times. I feel like every actor kind of goes through that where it's like, I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna give up. And it happens like very often.
Mm,
But I never did. And I'm proud of myself that I never gave up. But there was a moment, specifically when I was in high school, where I mean, you're in high school, you're 16, you're at that age where it's like you're self-conscious, you start having all these doubts about yourself and hormones, it's like all this stuff like coming at you. And I unfortunately did not. I got down to the last 2 girls for this one particular film, and it did not go my way, and that's what like I have never been so crushed about anything before, especially an audition, because my mom, she's like my team member. She always taught me like You do your best and you let it go. If
Mhm.
it's for you, it's for you, and if someone else gets it, that's okay. It's not about you or what you did. It's just they have an idea in their head. It's never anything like against you or like personal.
Right.
So and for this one, I was like, oh my gosh, like no, I was like, it was horrible. Like I was really down about it, and that's kind of when I decided, not decided, but I was having those thoughts where I was like, I don't. This one hurt.
Yeah.
This one hurt. This one hurt, and I want to go home. That I remember saying that specifically to my go home. Because I'm not from here. I'm from Texas,
Mm.
so I was just like, man, like we're away from family. uh this one didn't go through. This was gonna be it, and I just want to go home. And my mom, I love my mom. Shout out to my mom. She goes, um, she never pressured me for anything. She never forced me to do anything I didn't want to do. So she was like, okay, you with your agency, you did make a commitment. You did sign a contract. Give it to the end of this year. Uh, that's it. Just finish. Stay true to your word and what you agreed to, and we can go home. Of that, I think that summer where everything was about to be like, yeah, your contract's up. I mean, you don't have to renew it. I booked Jane the Virgin. So it was, so I was like, all right, fine, maybe I will stay. um, and that's where, I got my passion again. After that big ouch. I'm sorry, what was the I kind of like went on like a rant. What was the
I
that was
welcome.
the moment where I was like, this one hurt. This one
Yeah.
hurt. Mhm.
I mean, I've interviewed so many people at this point between all the shows that I do. I think over 100 interviews at this point. It's such a common thread of that sort of mentality that artists have to continue to have of that, like, just do your best and put it out of your mind. Of course, it's easier said than done. And also, a lot of folks have shared that it really doesn't always come down to talent. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, they're too tall compared to the lead
Mhm.
actor. They don't look enough like the parent that we cast already. They're
Yeah,
not available for a weekend and we need the whole month. It's like so many different things. And,
so
it's,
many.
yeah. And like you said, it's very important to not focus so much on it being personal. It's business, it's show business. Yeah.
Exactly. Like that's just the nature of it.
Yeah. And just saying what you were saying before that, at that time period that you were thinking of going back home and of quitting, you booked Jane the Virgin, and there's that saying that's like, man plans and God laughs. Like, huh, I
Yeah.
got something
Yes.
better. You didn't get the movie, but here's a
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So I was just like, all right, I see you. I see you. Because I'm not going home. And then from there, there were periods in between Jane the Virgin and other things I booked where it was kind of slow.
Mm,
But even then, I didn't feel like I wasn't getting anywhere. It's like that slowly but surely.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
never once felt like, okay, no, now I'm going to give up, or no, no, it never since then crossed my mind because I loved it so much.
Mm. So with Student Body, fast forward to today. First, I love the title, double entendre there, horror film. So let's go back to your audition for this project. So, I'm sure at this point it was several years ago. Do you remember what your whole audition experience was like? And this was pre-COVID,
Yeah, yeah.
pre everything being
Little days.
taped and all of that. So yeah. So what was that whole experience like for you?
It was an on tape audition as well, even though it was pre-COVID. It wasn't a crazy audition process. Uh I I feel terrible, telling this story about how because I love Student Body and I love the experience, but the audition process for me wasn't as optimistic or great because I always try to give like my best in every audition I do.
Mm,
But there are some times, where you do get kind of, you can have all the passion in the world. You can have, be so positive and optimistic, but there's still times you're just like, just eye roll, like, oh, because
yeah.
when I received the script and the breakdown, I was like, oh my gosh, the storyline is like awesome. Like I love this. I love horror is my favorite genre,
Mm,
So I was like, this is cool. Okay, breakdown, cool. When it starts, cool. Character, Jane Shipley. Jane Shipley. All right, yeah, okay, they're gonna give this to me, sure. So I already I went in with the attitude of they're not gonna book me already. which is not okay. I shouldn't have done that.
Mm.
I learned from that because obviously I'm wrong. I was wrong. But yeah, I auditioned. I did do my best. That was my cat. I did do my best, and um, for the last scene, I used my script, which is fine. It's not, but I never like to use my script. It was kind of one of those things where I don't really like, why bother? Oh my gosh, that sounds so terrible to say. But like, we've all been there. But I was really like, why bother? I'm still gonna do my best, but why bother? And then I get a call back, and I'm like, hmm, interesting. Hmm, okay. And then that's where the real work began, where I was like, okay, no. I shouldn't have gone in with this like defeatist mentality. I should have, you know, done even better than my best from day one. But it was a learning experience. And I snapped out of it real quick, and I was like, all right, now we have to really focus. And I got to the director's session, and that obviously went very well. And I really clicked with the director, Leanne. She's great. And then next thing you know, I'm in Georgia. And I was like, okay, maybe it can be Jane Shipley. you know?
Yeah.
Uh, so that's kind of how the audition process was for me
Yeah.
for
So once you
see.
got the call that you had booked the role, what was going through your head?
Well, I was very sore because when I got the call that I had booked it, I was at the gym with my trainer.
Uh-huh.
And my mom comes rushing into the gym. She's like, your agent's on the phone. I'm like, did you just walk over here from like the apartment to tell me this? She's like, yes, she needs to talk to you. And I'm like, I could have done like a three-way call. She's like,
Right.
I was already near. It was like this whole mess. uh, and she was on speakerphone, and she told me, and all three of us, me, my trainer, and my mom, were celebrating. So it was fun.
So your character Jane, she's not the popular girl. She's very much on the shyer side. She's focused on her studies and her future, even though she may strive to be, she wants to like be included with the cool kids that she sees at school and like be part of this clique. What was it like playing this character and sort of basically going back to high school for this role?
Well, it was exactly that. I was definitely Jane Shipley. So I definitely did go back to high school. I was totally a Jane in high school. So she was a very relatable character to me. She's very meek, she's very timid, she kind of just wants to fit in, she feels like she doesn't belong. Um, and so getting into Jane's character was very much like, hey, let's go back to high school. Let's go say hi to like 16, 15-year-old Montse and say what's up. And it was interesting to be back in that skin because
Mm.
since then, obviously, like even from the time from high school to like, student body, like I grew so much. And I feel like my confidence and everything, so much changed in my life that going back to it, I was like, I just want to give myself a hug. I want to give like, high school me a hug. So it was really interesting to relive that.
Mm.
But it kind of also healed a little part of me. I was kind of like,
Mm.
we were there, but we got through it. Yes, I got to heal myself through Jane a little bit, you
Mm.
know. But yeah, no, it was definitely interesting. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of
Mm.
fun. That was like overall, but Jane is very special because this is my first lead, like in a film,
Mm.
and for it to be a character that kind of resembled like a past version of me was like, oh, it makes you feel like, oh, look how far you've come. There's like gonna be the first of many, and the first is gonna be. It was literally just me at my lowest point in my life, and I thought that was very like, I don't know, like it was warm. I was really sad when I had to leave Jane's character because I was like, it's just like saying bye to like kid me, and it's so it always be like a special experience for me.
Mm. And given I'm also a huge horror movie fan. Whenever there's one in theaters, I like have to go see it.
Yeah,
Whether it's getting good reviews or bad, I'm like I'll have my own opinion.
yeah,
But
right.
I always watch like the behind the scenes and the documentaries about all of these projects, and to me, it's like people say a lot about the horror genre and whatnot, and that it's like saturated or whatever, because there are so many horror projects out there.
Yeah,
But to
yeah.
me, it's like it looks like the most exhausting and challenging genre for an actor, because I can't imagine screaming and running and doing all of that take after take.
Yeah.
So what was that whole experience like filming for you? Like, is there like, without spoilers, is there a particular moment in the project that was just like, and also you guys shot a lot at night, it looked like, so I'm sure it was like
Yeah.
overnight shoots and all of that. So
Mhm.
just what comes to mind of like a challenging moment in the movie for you?
A, a challenging moment. So, uh, I started. So the whole reason I started working out to begin with wasn't for like anything in particular. It was just mostly for myself. Uh, I'm really small, so I'm like I just need to get like I don't know my strength up and everything. And
Mm.
I was also coming out of also a really weird situation. Anyways, um, so I'm like, when am I ever gonna do pull-ups? Ever. I tell my trainer, I'm like, when am I ever gonna like use it's like math? Like, when am I ever gonna use this? The math is important, but I mean like the whole like triangles and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm like, when am I ever gonna need to do any of this? Like, I'm tired. I'm complaining every time we work out. I get to set. Hey, yeah. So in this scene, we're gonna need you to climb this tree and pull yourself up. Like what? What? You're joking. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna climb this tree. There's like this perfectly, it was like that tree was like meant for us. Like this, it was just perfect for the film. And then you're gonna grab the one of the branches and you're gonna pull yourself up like a pull up. I'm like, oh my God. All right, sure. And that was like one of the most challenging physically to
Yeah.
do. And I remember that because I remember texting my trainer being like, dude, guess what I have to do? And it paid off because I somehow managed with my lanky arm.
So, I saw that you guys had wrapped production on this back in 2019. So, what's it like now finally having it available for the masses to watch, at this point, 2.5 years later?
It's exciting. It's super exciting because it's like it's finally coming out.
Mm,
Like I have all these memories of filming it, and I always I knew it was gonna come out at some point, but everything that's coming with it, I expected, but I guess, and I was prepared for, but it's still just kind of it's so strange, like interviews and like meetings
mm,
and stuff like that. I think it's really cool. It's just like out of nowhere, well, it's not out of nowhere, um, but I'm really excited for everyone to see all of our hard work. It was such a great experience behind the scenes, and the chemistry between the entire cast and crew was just there, and it was awesome. So I'm excited for everyone to see that shown in the film because it really
mm.
was like one of like the coolest adventures I've been on so far, and I'm excited for people to see that.
Yeah, the whole thing, just everything
The
finally. Have you
whole
have you been
thing.
able to watch the whole movie yet or no? You have. Okay. Alrighty. I won't ask anything else.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. I'm like a huge
Of course.
spoiler. I
Oh
don't
no, I
want
know. Don't worry. I'm not looking for a scoop or anything.
to. It's okay because I would probably tell you, but not on purpose.
So you had such a wonderful career so far, between your work, like I said, like doing voiceover for animated shows and video games and television and now film. So looking back, is there any advice that you would give your younger self if you could go back and tell them something?
Yes. I would tell my younger self, be patient. Be
Mm,
patient. Be kinder to yourself. Um, and you have gone through so much and have overcome so much that like what's that like God never gives you more than you can handle,
mm,
and so far girl, like you can handle a lot. So I just tell her that she's doing great and she's gonna be great, she's gonna be fine, and the most important thing is to stay close to family, and most important, like, but just be kinder.
mm.
That's my biggest thing.
Our audience is a lot of young artists and actors, so that's usually why I asked that question, is because a lot of young artists out there are looking for that advice. So, you guys
Yeah.
heard it from Montse. Take care of
Yeah.
yourselves, be kind to yourselves.
Yeah. No, seriously, I think it's especially in this industry where everyone else is already so hard on you. It's
Mhm.
like, why add on to that?
Yeah.
And also it's like you are your thing, like you're your thing, people have like people in sports, like they, but like your body and like your instrument is like needs to be taken care of
Yeah.
for you to do your best work. So it's like, why beat yourself up and why damage yourself when you need to be great? You need to be, good. You need to be good to function, you know?
Yeah. So I don't want to keep you on for too long. So before we go, we're gonna play a non-rapid fire game called Now That We Know You, since we've gotten to chat with you for the last
Cool.
20 minutes. So fill in the blank. If I
Okay.
weren't working in the arts, I'd be
Okay, it's not rapid fire, so I don't have to. But the
right.
first thing that always comes to my mind, because it is a job, I want to be a mom. I would want to be a mom. I'll happen eventually, but if I wasn't right now, yeah, I'm young, but I would be a mom.
Who would you trade places with for one day?
um, man, um, Simone Biles.
Good choice. What's a day like her? What's a day in her life? I'm
I'm
curious.
sure it's very stressful, but I would love to flip around and be that freaking. Have you seen her legs, dude? Oh my gosh,
Yeah, she's a
incredible.
beast. She's a
Yeah,
beast.
I would want to just be like, yeah.
What is the best advice you've ever gotten?
It's from my grandmother. The best advice I've ever gotten from her is it's in Spanish, but to translate it, she pretty much saying, what is yours and what is meant for you, nobody can take away from you.
Mm,
And that's like, it's like you don't have control over these things, especially like in this industry. So when like a project comes to me that I book, or this opportunity or a door opens, I'm like, that was meant for me. And if I don't get one, it's like that was also not like, that wasn't for me. That was like
mm,
hers or his, or it was theirs. It's never, like. And also another one real quick, another one, I think this one's really important.
mm,
My mom told me, a win for one is a win for all of us, especially like in our community, the Latino
mm.
community. Like, there's no competition. And I learned this really young, and I'm so glad that my mom put this in me when I was really young. When I was like maybe 7, I think I went to an audition, and I was really excited, and I ended up not getting it. And my mom was like, you know why? I was like, why? She's like, because her hair's curly. Of course. Of course. She's like, yeah, and you have to be so happy for her, because she also did a really good job.
Mm.
I'm like, I didn't see it, but yeah, yeah, she did. Obviously, she did do a great job if she got it, huh? And I've always kept that also mentality. Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, damn, that sucks, but overall, like the bigger picture is, I'm so happy, and it's just like a win for one is like
Mm.
a win for like all of us.
Yeah. It's so easy to get lost in everything and look at it as a competition because it is competitive.
It
There is
is.
that. There's only one role for the 3,000 submissions and the 20 auditions that went through and all of that. But it's just like, okay, it wasn't for me. That's fine. This might be changing their life. All for me, it was just another job.
Mhm.
It's so easy to get lost into all of that.
Yeah.
So similarly, what's the worst advice you've ever gotten? So much, I'm sure. I feel like,
Yeah. The worst advice, I've ever gotten is, I don't remember the exact phrasing of it, because I really brain dumped it as soon as I heard it. But it was along the lines, like the gist was, um, you don't need your family. You can do this on your own. You need
Mhm.
to do this on your own. And I was like, what? And I was like, you're asking a Mexican woman to.
You can't tell a Latino,
Yeah,
forget your
okay.
family. Yeah.
Even if I wanted to, like, yeah, okay, sure, like, good one. I was just like, no. It's good to, whether it's your family or friends or people like you really close with, it's important to have a support system in all of this.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
it's like vital to this, because it gets lonely and it gets really tough. So I was like, yeah, that was not not for me.
Yeah.
That was the worst advice I've
Yeah.
ever received.
And lastly, in 10 words or less, what
Oh
advice would you
no. Sorry.
what advice would you give to a young actor?
Um, Advice I'd get to a young actor. I'm gonna give advice that I need to take for myself as well, that I'm learning to at the moment. So I guess we can all learn together and um, take time to breathe and enjoy life outside of work.
Mm,
Because we get so caught up and like focused in our craft, which is great. Don't get me wrong, like that's you know important because that's if that's what you want to do. But I find myself sometimes missing out.
mhm,
I'm so young and I'm just like, I think I'm missing out a bit. I think I'm too caught up watching all these movies and writing all these notes and writing in general and just like that I'm forgetting to live. Like acting and is all about using experiences or
mhm.
experiencing different things and there's some things in films that I'm like for example, like I'm never going to be a woman in like the 1920s going through like a crazy marriage, right? So it's like, and obviously I don't want to experience that, but what I'm trying to say is that why experience life's moments in film when you can be doing it in your real life?
Mhm.
Like I didn't have like a great experience in high school, and yeah, I got that great experience on student body, but it's like I have the opportunity to do that in my 20s, make new friends, have like go out and have fun. Like I don't have to wait for a project that tells me that I'm going to experience this to experience it.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait to be on set to live. You know what I mean? I don't know if that
Yeah.
made any sense.
No, absolutely does. Yeah.
But my advice is to take a break sometimes. It's good to take a break and to live and to experience. Because also, like, and if you think about it, it's like, I need these experiences to apply to my work. And in that sense, you're also working without working. It's like, like that's my advice. Mhm.
That's the same advice that a recent interview, actress Cristina Ochoa, she's in the new show Promised Land that comes out in a few
Oh
weeks.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My
She
friend, Natalia Del Riego, she's on
uh,
that.
oh really?
Girl.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
Sorry.
So she basically said the same advice. Something like, a richer life experiences lead to richer character
Mhm,
experiences, and
mhm.
it's so true.
Yeah.
It's there's only so much like you said, like if you're doing like the marvelous Mrs. Maisel or something, you can't pull that from your own experience because you weren't around
Right.
in the 50s and all of that. But everything else you can pull in those experiences. So yeah, I absolutely agree. So
Yeah.
Monte, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Again, I'm so excited for the movie to come out finally on February 8th. Where can folks find you on Instagram if they want to give you a follow?
On Instagram at I'm I am at I am underscore Montse, and that's Montse.
Awesome. And you can all follow us on Instagram at Actors with Issues. Give me a follow at Juaniala Official. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening and catch new episodes every Monday. And don't miss Montse Hernandez in Student Body, available on demand on iTunes, Prime Video, and Apple TV February 8th. I'm Juaniala. This is Actors with Issues, and we'll see you next week.